fall officially begins tomorrow, and I'm starting a mini series giving you ways that you can romanticize fall in your everyday life so that you have the best season ever.
Switch out all of the little everyday things that you use to seasonal versions. And when I look back on fall and Halloween in my childhood and I think about like how magical and nostalgic it was,
they are able to push this idea of autumn and this excitement of fall onto consumers to basically maximize sales as early as possible. Decor in stores has started to come out for fall in the middle of July.
If you're going to be doing your fall layering, you don't want to forget your socks. These ankles.
Hold on, we're influencing socks now? Get the f out of here. This is such an unserious time to be alive. Yeah, no, we need inspo. We need sock inspo for our fall layering. Like, do you hear this? This is absurd. No kidding. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to de-influence fall, and not just de-influence fall consumption, and I want to de-influence fall as a concept the way that it is marketed today as a holiday. Now, this is something that has been like a low boil point of like personal contention for me for like 7 or 8 years. And it's been running in tandem with a lot of things that I see happening in the consumerist space. Now, for those of you who are new, I am working through a shopping addiction here on my channel this year in 2025. I started out here on YouTube talking about the luxury resale industry because I worked in it and I was trying to give viewers like you insights to make the experience a lot more enjoyable, and that was due to the fact that I had a really intense shopping addiction, and I was able to monetize that and bring it here. So we're kind of unpacking a lot, but today I want to get into fall and how the season, in my experience of it, has changed. I don't know the age group necessarily that some of you may be watching from, but I'm sure if any of you are older than me, I'm 35, you remember a time when fall was not marketed as a shopping season. This is new, relatively speaking. This is new within the last 10 years, and I really want to unpack that. I could, just chalk it up to like, now I'm just a crotchety old person. Like, I have reached my auntie level status where I'm like shaking fists at the cloud, but like, I don't understand why we're doing this, how it caught on, and what is the intention, what is the purpose here. Before we get started, disclaimer, I'm not saying don't enjoy things. Like, I am unpacking my relationship with fashion and overconsumption this year, which we will get into in other videos in the future. If you want to see like me kind of coming to grips with the idea that I didn't actually like fashion, I was only in it for the consumerism, then check out this video. But I'm not at all saying that we should not enjoy things. I understand that, like, sometimes with all of the drudgery asked of us in the world, that we need to have something to enjoy and something to attach ourselves to get like a little serotonin and dopamine boost. I get that. However, I really do think that a lot of this comes from manipulation and just normalization to the behest of a lot of these companies and corporations that do not have our best interest in mind. Basically what I'm trying to say is that, like, I like pumpkin too, but in the before times, fall was not people's personality. I don't know how we got here. Almost, it's like sacrosanct at this point, and it's one of those things that just keeps getting repeated and repeated back to back to back every single year, and then every year it gets more and more and more intense, and every year it comes earlier and earlier and earlier. I don't believe that it happened organically anymore, but it's caught on, and now like we're being marketed candy corn in fucking July, and I hate it. I hate it so much. P.S. I hate fall. I like candy corn. Candy corn can stay, but buying ceramic pumpkins is out. And what I find super bizarre too is that where I live, we have 1 1/4 seasons effectively, right? And it's lost on me, especially because I am not experiencing like the leaves change. Like, it's probably 85 degrees outside right now. To see that this is just being experienced as an empty shopping season, and then also to notice that and like the collective is moving around it to participate. I find it weird. I find it very weird. Like, this comes up in topics of conversation here. Like, like, oh yeah, are you doing any fall stuff? And I'm like, fall? Like, fall? But look at what I'm wearing right now. Like, this is not my fall outfit inspo. Once again, like, this is not a reflection of our reality here in real life, yet everyone is still trying to like buy a piece of it. You know, separately too, I do get that like these are very polarizing times. He is apprehensive in critiquing people coming, like gathering together on an idea as relatively, if you want to discard the junk in the landfills and the wasted money and all the overconsumption stuff, like it is nice to see like people coalescing around an occasion, I suppose. But then no, now that I think about it, like if these shopping seasons are all that we have to coalesce around, then I think we have a really big problem. Yeah, like I just don't understand where this like new sacred mission and purpose came from. Fill your home, dress your altar to correspond with the season and the feeling of something created by a marketing campaign. Yeah, by the way, I actually like the fall flavors. I like a pumpkin latte. Yeah, I sure do. But so my favorite seasonal flavor is gingerbread, right? That usually doesn't come out until Christmas, right? So what I did was in January, right when my no-buy was starting, I went into Marshall's for like one of the only times this year and bought the gingerbread syrup when it was on sale for $2. I bought 3 of them. I make it so that I can enjoy the flavor that I like to have whenever I want. Like, there is no such thing as scarcity. And like, what I just can't get over and what annoys me to no end is how this stuff it comes up and it comes in with like the air of like manufactured scarcity along with manufactured desire. And I can't play this game anymore. My role right now is to sit here and call it out for being bullshit. Like, yeah, no, babe, you can have pumpkin whenever you want. So the first thing is that I never understood fall as like a fashion season. Well, okay, let me back up. Fall classically, before the TikTok and before like the Instagram influencer culture of like naming the seasons and making them a reason to shop. Seasons, as we understood them, were autumn, winter, spring, summer. Literal seasonal and temporal like dichotomy meant to address different weather conditions. Now, it seems we are way far away from that. I think that a lot of the utility, practicality, function, and just like logic has very much vacated the space. And that is a different but not unrelated problem. Like, I understand that the fashions of fall are intended to be thicker, to be thicker and heavier in accordance with the weather patterns of the Northern Hemisphere. It makes sense that you're gonna pull out your sweaters when it's cold and your shorts when it's hot. But somewhere the wires have been crossed. What I've never understood was the idea that when the season changes, like there is an expectation or a normalization, a rationalization, that is, when the season changes, you should change your color palette. Who told us to do that? Like, I just don't understand where this directive came from and why we're all playing along with it. You know, I'm not sure if I've shared this before, but I'm from New England. Like, I get it. The flowers, the leaves changing is gorgeous, right? I get that. But what I haven't quite understood is like, how are we marrying like the clothes that you wear on your body to the season surrounding you changing? Like that, we kind of just like give it away for free that is supposed to be like, that's supposed to run in tandem. And I'm not sure how we got there. What I'm working on right now is like kind of like mapping out a lot of the foregone conclusions and like circular reasoning and logic that I just kind of like fell in line on over the course of my life that just, again, like just brought me into a like constant cycle of buying new shit. Who is this for? One of the first videos of my relaunch, I was talking about like missions that were put on that don't even make sense and aren't even important to us. This is just a mindset that creates an endless quest to fulfill a purpose that is not even really truly important to you. And this is something that I think we all need to get away from. Like I said before, I can't be the only Martian in the room that is looking around like, because the leaf is orange, so I have to be orange too. That doesn't make sense. You can also take this argument in reverse. You don't have to wear flowers because it is spring. If you like to wear florals, you can wear florals whenever you want. Like when I heard in Devil Wears Prada, oh, florals for spring, groundbreaking. Like I heard, do something else. Slightly odd tangent. I had an experience that like when I first moved to Miami, there was an expectation but from a person in my life that like, now that I live here, I should wear color because in New York is where people wear black. And it's like, yeah, but I'm the same person. That like frame of mind will never make sense to me. And so yeah, like there's this marketing idea of this season that people are trying to like associate themselves and like become a part of. And I think that you can do whatever you want, you know? And again, I cannot let off the gas enough that we should not allow ourselves to be dictated to about what we should be wearing or doing or thinking, especially now. So like, no, don't change your color palette for anyone, for any reason. Wear what you want to wear or don't. Like, so like, no, for me, fall was never about the fashion. I literally, you guys have been saying this. I've been hearing people say this for close to 15 years now. I don't know what the f you're talking about. I don't like to be cold. Literally, I uprooted my life in New York City to move to a place that did not have winter. The better fashion is the fashion where I get to wear exactly what I want. Not the scarf and the sweater and the jacket and the puffer vest and the blazer coat. Like, no. Now, if it's cold enough for me to have a coat on, the coat is closed. There is no version of me walking around like sub 60 degrees where my jacket is not closed because I'm cold. If I'm wearing a coat or if I'm wearing a sweater, in my mind, it's covering the outfit. I'm going to be honest here. This is a safe space, I hope. You'll laugh at me if you want, but like doing better fashion meant wearing more things instead of less. I'm sorry, like I'm vain. No. Sorry, being honest. Now, this specifically has to do with the industry that I come here from. I worked in the luxury resale industry and I bought and sold designer handbags to a market of people. Here on this YouTube channel, I brought information about that market to you so you could have better information to make better, more informed choices. That was like the whole deal here. And one of the things that like I couldn't believe that every year I would have to repeat and recycle over and over and over again is that fall is a terrible time to wear suede. How the fibers of suede, I think it absorbs light as opposed to reflects it. So like it gives like a different texture and adds that to your look or whatever. Like, sure, cool. But in fall it rains and it's windy and it's cold and it's sloshy and it's wet. There's an option to treat it, do the thing, but it's like, why put yourself through that? Why make things more complicated than they need to already be? I don't get anymore why like these textures, especially the ones that are so delicate and so like not repellent, was the opposite of attractant, or ruined or made up-ed by a single drop of water.
I did something big and bad and scary. I bought this purse yesterday and it is the most perfect thing I've ever laid my eyes on.
Like that's your go-to for what I've experienced is like a, you know, rain and cold and slush and leaves and dirt. I don't think it makes sense, and I never did. You don't need a special bag because the temperature changed. What goes in your fall bag that doesn't go in your spring bag? I think what gives up the game, sort of, in how I treated luxury goods is that I centered around practicality. So what I'm about to say is like kind of like the antithesis of luxury a little bit. I'll get into it later and more in depth. But a fall bag, right, in my mind is something that is going to hang lower on the shoulder in order to accommodate the fact that you're wearing a sweater and a coat. The baguette style, make it in suede, you can make it in velvet, you can make it in shearling, you can make it out of maple leaves. If it sits under your armpit, it's going to get ruined. So like, I really don't want to be an asshole, but like, I have decorated a home now. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. But like, the idea that I would have to do it over again because the seasons changed, like, doesn't make sense to me.
Here's everything you need to know on how to decorate your home for fall so that it looks like this and not like that. Every single year on August 1st, I begin to think about how I want to decorate seasonally, and as an interior designer, I like to go more minimal and conceptual so that I don't get tired of it in a couple of weeks. So
Well, just as I thought, trash.
Again, I'm in a process now where I am like coming out of a false passion or false hobbyism of fashion that I thought that I liked. And I imagine that there's a lot of people who took this same like seed of realization and just threw it into their home and their surroundings. Now, I've read some literature and some scholarship on this in the past couple of months, and the post-war era, the 1950s, like women literally were marketed to like begin like crafting aesthetic homes. I think this is very cultural, and this is something that has absolutely been like indoctrinated, for lack of a better word. And I absolutely see that other people who are maybe not so much into like their physical decor anymore have just channeled all of this energy and all of this consumption into something else. And I think that like this was the avenue that like I was supposed to get on when I realized that dressing myself is no longer the thing. Because again, I'm a woman in my 30s, and what I see in the fashion space is like what's marketed to is the women in their 20s and younger. The fashion industry kind of like wants the money of women in their 30s, but they also pretend that we don't exist. It's very weird. But yeah, like I feel like we are supposed to get off on the next exit, or like the next step, the next rung on the ladder, so to speak. And
it's officially September, so here is everything I've ordered lately to decorate for fall and how I styled it. Basically everything is from Amazon and Target as well, so it's pretty affordable. Starting off with the cutest Target pumpkins.
Okay, so the Target pumpkins, and I understand that this once again is for the purpose of styling your space. I'm not falling into that. You don't have to style your space. No, you can just have shit you like. That's it.
I grabbed these the other day and I love them. Target candles are also insanely good this year, and
Oh, I have a confession. I just bought a Target candle, and if you're on the no-buy journey with me, you should not buy a Target candle. You do not need a Target candle. I like it, and I'm super sensitive to smells. The candle that I got is like really, really, really subtle, but also powerful enough to be throughout the house. And I got the $15 size, and I burned it a couple of days. It's nice. I like it. We're having a good time with the candle, but like, I didn't need to buy that. So that is going to count towards shopping for this month.
they smell amazing. This vase is from Target and these stems are Amazon. I have this on my coffee table. I grabbed this larger vase with these purple stems.
Okay, what if I told you that from Miami, like the leaves are orange and red in Maine, so like I need to go get a different color of faux flowers to put in a vase that's going to collect dust, and that I also don't have the space for? What are we talking about?
This Target lamp on my shelf over there, but it would look great in the kitchen as well. Brown glassware is stunning for fall. I love the color.
Wait, what? No, hold on. Since when were we changing out our glassware instead of having the set of glasses that I already have? To think that instead you should have like double that, or like 5 times that. And you only use them between September to November because the leaves changed in Vermont. That's stupid. No offense. I know how I sound, but like I am very resentful of the idea that the people that benefit from all of this consumerism that we're expected to participate in are creating a false sense of nostalgia in real time, right? Like the idea that we are supposed to be romanticizing fall or getting in the spirit for the holiday. You guys, what holiday? Like the problem I have with this is that the holidays have been seasons for like 20 years, and now the season is the holiday. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? They're trying to create a like shared feeling that we're all supposed to be experiencing and longing for and consuming.
And fall is the best time to slow down and begin enjoying those smaller moments in life, those pockets of peace, if you will. And I want to talk about ways that you can start to transform your home, bring those vibes into your spaces that goes way beyond home decor.
Hello, Editing Catherine cutting in, because the more I listened to this, the more I was disturbed by the premise of the premise of what she's saying here. So if we're not careful about clearly defining the objectives of the things that we buy, then I think that this is what we have to look forward to. Like, this is buying in furtherance of a spiritual practice, and it's making every alarm bell in my head go off. Like, it concerns me because it's tying a product to to inner spiritual work, and that to me feels new. Not new is not the perfect word for that, but that to me feels like a leap from what I thought we were doing at Target. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I have absolutely spent the last 20 years overbuying, but the nature of this discourse to me feels different. Like, it's fine to buy the soap because it smells good and you like it, you know, setting aside the possibility of overconsuming, which I'm trying to get away from in this moment. But in tying it to like a project of inner spiritual work, like, and all of that to me rings of a religious practice. And I'm sorry, but that is not what I signed up for. And that is not what soap does. This is creepy. This is weird. This is not normal. It is not normal to associate a spiritual practice of like inner peace or whatever she said with buying hand soap.
Always switch out for fall that I think makes a big difference and honestly always makes me smile are my hand soaps. I wash my hands obviously multiple times throughout the day, and being able to have that sensory overload just really makes a bigger difference than you would ever expect. On that same note, switching.
And what I hate is that there is a generation of kids growing up thinking that like this is how we do things. Anyone watching from the future, this was not how we did things. They made this up.
It is my favorite season, so I really just want to make sure that we all make the most of it. My first one, and arguably the most effective in my opinion, is to switch out all of the little everyday things that you use to seasonal versions. And when I look back on fall and Halloween in my childhood and I think about like how magical and nostalgic it was, I feel like a big part of that is like these small things. So having like seasonal dishware, like plates, mugs, etc. I don't think you have to go too expensive for this. Home Goods is always a good place to look. They have a ton of really good stuff right now.
I don't want the marketing department at Old Navy to create nostalgia for me. And I guess like the corporations like Target, like Home Goods, for example, like they simply would not be able to exist if we could all just be, I don't even want to say grateful because like that's too much. Tolerant of like the vessel our beverage goes into doesn't match with the marketing department's theme for Q3. Like, fuck off. Seriously, since when has this been an expectation of us? But I had to find videos like this to show as examples because it is just so weird to me that it's weird to me that this is normal. Beyond consumerism, beyond being able to link the throw blanket and the pillows on your LTK, what is this for? Like creating a cozy atmosphere. Like, for who? I guess this is kind of what I mean in like, what is the purpose of expressing your taste? Who is that for? I will never understand. Maybe someone can explain it, but like, what is this for? We don't need to be doing this, and to create an expectation or a normalcy here is to make it weird to not participate, and like, I'm not invested in that. What happens to the hobby or interest of home decor when you remove commerce from it? How do you style your home with no commerce? That's shopping. You like shopping. And that is honestly to be expected. I'm working through it too. Like, and I guess the point I'm really trying to drive home is that the more normal the more we see this, the more normal it feels, the more like we think that it's not a big deal to also participate in it. And before we know it, you have 11 pair of boots and you live in South Florida. What I want to be out of the practice of once this year ends and forevermore is like, stop spending money and stop buying into things that have no connection to me and my benefit, like no connection to me and no connection to like what is to my benefit. I know I was like a little like shitty towards our interior decorator friends a little earlier, but like, that's not to say that like, don't decorate your house. What I'm saying is like, why does it need to be a pumpkin? Why does it need to be a pumpkin now? And why does it need to be a pumpkin at the same time that it's a pumpkin for other people? Like, this is your house. Do what you want. But it should make sense for you, and it should be relevant to you and what you love and what makes sense for you and your lifestyle and your space. And I'm gonna say that it shouldn't be reflective of a season that was created by the marketing department at Target. That's all. I sincerely hope that wasn't mean, but I have just been watching from the sidelines as this like slow moving train of like just thoughtless like conformity has just taken hold. And I wanted to say this. I wanted to say this forever. It never made sense to me in spite of my 11 pairs of boots. We should not frame it as normal that you're supposed to change the colors that you wear because other people are doing it because the season's changed. Yeah, please leave your thoughts down below if you're into fall or if you're not, or if you feel the way I feel. This doesn't need to be a thing. This doesn't need to be a thing, and it certainly does not need to become another shopping season. So with that, I will leave it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.